Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to vectorize an image. So as you may or may not know, images come as either pictures or as vector graphics. Now a vector graphic can be cut on a plotter and can also be sized to, well, any size really without any loss in quality. You can also you've also more editing options with a vector than you do with a bitmap. So I'm just going to bring in a bitmap here now. So I'm going to import from my desktop. I have a dummy logo which I'm just going to import. And here it is here. So it's low res, simple logo, a couple of colors. But if I wanted to vectorize this and make this into something that I could cut, how would I do that? Now, the process is the same, regardless of level of Signlab that you have. What I mean by that is if you've got Signlab for stonemasons or Signlab print and cut or Signlab for VersaWorks, this process is pretty much the same. Another reason why you might use this in Signlab for stonemasons is if you wanted to prepare some line art to be cut on a plotter. So if you wanted to make some clip art of your own, you can do this process to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I've got my image here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up to my image and I'm going to use the Prepare to Vectorize wizard, which is here. Now this option may be slightly different depending on your version of Signlab. The first option here is, and this is common to all, is supersize. So basically what it's saying to me here is it wants to make that image bigger so that it's got more to work with. And I'm going to leave it at the default, and I would suggest you do the same. I don't tend to change this. The second option, which is not in every version of Signlab, and you may not have this one, is do you want to remove background objects using Fluid Mask? And Fluid Mask is a tool which I'm going to cover at a different time. So I'm going to say no anyway for now, because so we keep everything the same for everybody. So click OK. Now, if you notice it there, it's very low. You see, you've what we call noise in the background here. And if I just zoom back here, you'll see it actually improve the quality as it goes. So this is quite a difficult image to work with, and we'll get a reasonable result with this. I'm going to actually, normally I would suggest on your first run to leave the defaults as they are, but I'm actually going to just increase the edge crispness just a little bit. But other than that, I'm going to leave it as it is. But you'll notice if I start changing things like brightness and contrast, different, you can notice quite dramatic changes there. You can also zoom in and zoom out to get a better look at what you're actually working on as well. So zooming out there gives me a better look at it as well. So I'm gonna leave it as it is. Again, I've set back to my defaults. I'm actually gonna use the defaults. So I'm gonna click OK, and what it's gonna do is filter the image, and it's gonna size that image up. Now, the length of time that the filtering image will take depends on the complexity of the image. Again, not every image is suitable for vectorization. There are some pictures, for example, pictures with people, or that will tend not to be suitable for vectorization. There are also other images that are maybe just too low quality that you just can't get a good enough vectorization on. This may be one of them. We'll carry on and we'll have a look. Now, the next screen is, this is where you limit the number of colors. So you tell Signlab how many colors are in the image, and it will pick up the colors from that image and it will get them ready to be vectorized. So what I'm going to do is, by default, if you look here, first of all here, this is my preview of my image. Down below is what it will look like when I run this process. Now again, there's not a lot there at the minute. On the right hand side here, I've got 16 colors that I can select, and I've got a tolerance or a strength of each of those colors. So color 1 by default is black. Now there's no black in this image, so that's why it's given us this funny result here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set color number 1 to be red, and straight away it picks up some of the red elements in my image. Okay. So color number 2, I'm going to select the blue. Now just be careful that you actually get your the color that you want. Now it looks okay, it's a little weak. I'm going to increase the tolerance of the colors just to give me a little bit more strength. And you see there, see the actual strength now. But if you go too far, what you tend to do is start to flood the image with the color that you don't want. So I'm just going to put this back to 20 and have a look and see what that looks like. It's not bad. And then I'm going to just do the same with our red. I'll put that to maybe 15 and have a little look and see how that looks. No, I didn't actually do it there. 15, and see how that looks. Okay, it isn't bad. It's not great either. Again, you can zoom in to get a better look at your image. You can use your hand to move it around. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to just accept this and just show you. So I'm going to OK this, and what it does now, it's going to filter the image again. What you're doing is you're just applying the changes and settings that you've just put in yourself. And I'm going to pause it for a minute just while it does this. Okay, so let's just bring this back now. So I've got a message saying you're now ready to vectorize. Please select the Vectorise tool from the toolbar. So I'm going to OK this, and I'm going to look over here, and what I've got here, if I just bring my mouse over, are my scan tools. So I'm just going to click on this, and the first option is AccuScan. So I'm going to click on this, and notice up here my options have changed now. I've got some tools. I'm not going to go too deep into these. I'm just going to show you some of the basics, which is really all I'm really going to show you is the actual vectorization. When I click on this, it's done. That's it, vectorized. I'm going to close this, and what I now have is I now have two images, one on top of the other. One of them is my original picture, and the other will be my vectorized logo. So let me just have a look. So if I just right click on this one, now I don't have the option to ungroup, so this is my original picture, and if I try to cut this, there's nothing there to cut because it's a picture. So I'm going to delete that because I don't need that anymore, and here is my vectorized logo. So if I go to cut and plot, I now have the ability to cut this on my plotter. The quality is not great, so I could have tweaked those settings a bit more. But anyway, for the moment, I now have the ability to cut it where I didn't have before. I can also, if I right click on one of these nodes, I can ungroup this, and I can delete the background, and I can also start to change colors, which I didn't have the ability of that to do that before. So you can see it's quite a powerful tool. Again, not every image is suitable for vectorization, but again, you know, in certain circumstances, this would be perfectly acceptable. Now, again, remember, there are options to change as you go along, and you can do that, and you can set your strengths and your tolerances as you go. And I would suggest that you follow those steps a couple of times just to become familiar with the actual process of vectorization. And again, if I want to just regroup those, I just draw a box over the whole lot, and right click on one of these and group, and now I've grouped it all together. And that's it. That is your vectorization tool.